How's it, everyone? Welcome back to Game Time, episode 8, Joshy.
Episode 8,
in the beautiful Redefine. We're sitting here at almost 9 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Just came back from Johannesburg. Had a good weekend with Malky. But yeah, Josh, what a weekend.
Jeez, dude. Firstly, thank you to the Marx household for putting up with us and all our equipment and all of our lights and tripods and cameras and cords. We shot a very, very exciting project. Well, the first half of a very exciting project altogether, which I'm super pumped about. I'm also very nervous. So
But it's going to be good, though.
It is going to be
I think just as a little teaser probably on the show, there's going to be some comedy in that advertising. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what the post-production looks like. So
you're going to see Stephen and Malcolm's comedic timing on camera, which was I was so impressed. Yeah. You guys found your feet, and the banter felt like braai room banter. I must actually write that down. That's a damn good phrase.
braai room banter.
Braai room banter.
Braai room banter.
There we go.
On the chest.
Yeah, and we'll put some little logo to it.
But even like last night, we had a dinner, and then probably sat till 2 o'clock in the morning, just talking stories.
Yeah, around the bar.
Just around the bar and just telling old rugby stories.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's always so cool to hear you guys.
But it was fun.
You know, obviously everything around rugby is such a massive accolade. And Dylan, Ray and I were talking about it while we were in Joburg. We were in the Uber on the way back to our Airbnb. Dill was going like, what a crazy experience this is, getting to work with Springbok rugby players. And, you know, obviously him coming in on the project, we couldn't do it without him. But he came in on the project, and then he gets to interact within that atmosphere as well, right? Of rugby players around a bar, just talking shits and gigs kind of thing. And he was like, dude, it's such a surreal feeling when you hear from other people when they re-acknowledge the accolade that you carry. And I said to him, I was like, dude, often I have moments where I'm flicking through Instagram and a reel of like South Africa 2019 World Cup final will come up. And I'll see you or Malky in the reels. And I'm like, it is trippy. Like sometimes, not that I forget, because I think that would be quite arrogant. I would never forget the achievement you hold. But
But even if you think about like 2019 is like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like how quickly time goes.
Yeah.
And it feels like yesterday. And I mean, we were going through that 2019 memoirs and like looking at all the photos. And you're like, all those flashbacks just come so quickly. And but yeah, we forget it's like 2019. The first time we won the World Cup with Rassie as coach was 6 years ago. And then we did it again in 23. And it's like 2 years later, and the Lions tour is happening in a couple of weeks. They start their tournament against Australia. So just how quickly time flies. And I can't believe it's like already middle or almost end of June.
Yeah.
And geez, anyway.
It's awesome to see people in public. Like you say, as time passes, you've developed so many different images, right? Rugby player, husband, you know, friend, someone that's able to banter and talk seriously. But now you've got the image of like owning a show, right? Like, you know, and hosting something that's weekly out there media-wise. And people would comment on it publicly and say like, love the show, great show, you speak so well. So dude, credit to you, because you've turned it from being the quiet guy in the room to being the one that can perfectly articulate stuff. So
it was quite a cool moment when we were standing at the Hertz there in Joburg, and just big shout out to Hertz and Julian for the car over the weekend. It was grand. But then, like, I mean, never met the guy in my life, and he just comes up to us and says like, listen, guys, love the show.
So sick.
Brilliant work. I mean,
so dope to meet you in that parking lot, dude. Thank you for coming over. You literally made my day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something else exciting happening this week as well is with Bomb Squad. It's the launch of Highball, and I mean, and not a lot of people actually know what it is, and I don't want to spill too much now talking about it, but it's going to be quite exciting. And I think our official launch is going to be on Thursday evening, leading up to the Barbarians game. But yeah, I mean, that's another exciting project that's, I mean, being worked in, and still going to create a lot of content around it, because I think it's such a cool name, brand, ties so nicely into what the girls are doing, and myself and Malcolm, and I think it just ties very well into the entire ecosystem of what Bomb Squad is.
We should actually have Amy on story time for the launch. That's actually a damn good idea. I'm not thinking of this out loud on the show, but we must have Amy
Put it
on.
out there. Put it out there.
There we go.
Let she listen.
Speak it.
Speak it. Let she can hear it. And
Speak it into existence.
and then she'll come back.
Yeah, wherever Amy's now, lying watching Landman, chilling
Damn you.
after a weekend,
Damn
we're going to
you.
telepathically speak. Yeah.
Yeah. But she'll be watching this tomorrow night.
Yeah, she
Or
actually
Monday
will.
night. Yeah.
Yeah, there we
She
go.
watches every episode.
Okay, Ames, see you tomorrow or Wednesday, and we'll put the episode out for the launch.
Thanks for one view.
Thank you for the one view. Yeah. Listen, every view counts.
Yeah, very
On highball and just drinking in general. I promised complete transparency and honesty on the show. So we made a month sober, and then this weekend broke it. But in my defense, if you sitting on a cold Saturday night with an ice cold bomb squad next to Malcolm Marx and Stephen Kitshoff watching the Lions versus Argentina with one of your best mates for a film project that you're all filming together, and Malcolm Marx and Kitsy offer you a beer and you say no, the disrespect of that no. So we had a couple together, and I'm happy that I broke it this
But it's
weekend.
almost
It was
like
a
that
joy.
conversation we had like when we just met, Joshua, like we spoke about like drinking, what's your favorite type of drink? And I said like, I love a shower beer, or I love this type of beer, post-match beer. But the other fun beer is like sitting on a couch at your house, watching good rugby with a cold bevy in your hand.
It's so good. Dude.
And it was such a good game as well.
It was.
It was such like a game in Vamos, Argentina.
Argentina! Well done, boys.
But yeah, flipping, and then you broke it.
We broke it. And I learned in breaking it,
He learned a lot.
I will now go back to a little sober stint. I don't think it will be this weekend. Let's just put that out there. Maybe next week I'll be
Maybe
back.
after the internationals.
Maybe after. Okay, yeah, maybe 3 months from now I'll try again. Kitsy and I, we were all at dinner last night, and I got buffaloed again on a tequila shot that I was adamant I would not fucking drink. And they just kept bringing tequilas to the table.
Yeah, but you kept saying Jess is going to be so disappointed in me.
I did keep saying that. I was like, I will not get hammered at this table. My third Stella Artois arrives, and I was like,
Let's go. Let's go with it.
yeah.
But let's put it out to the viewers what
Okay.
they think about
Okay.
what they think about the rule of Buffalo when it comes to. So explain what you think, and I'll say what I think, and then we leave it up to the comments what the people really think how it should work.
Well, I'm gonna preface everything.
Yes.
My understanding of the way it works turns out is completely wrong. The way that I've always seen it.
Yeah.
So we had a table of about 7 men teaching me Buffalo at 29 years old. It was massively embarrassing, but this is how it went. So, perfect example right here. I thought if you get caught drinking out of your right hand, the task of the right hand is to down.
No.
So if you catch me sipping with my right hand and you go Buffalo, I go, and I finish the drink. Turns out, if you get caught in that sip, you have to stop, swap hands, and down with the left hand.
Yes.
But I thought, not that I'm right or wrong, or I'm wrong, I thought that the left was for sipping and I thought the right hand was the image of buffalo. I thought it had to be finished as a buffalo in the right hand.
No. So buffalo is if you take a sip with your right hand and it leaves your lips and someone calls you buffalo,
Yes.
then automatically you have to drink out of your left hand and you have to finish your dope. But if you decide, F the rules or fuck the rules,
Yes.
I'm just going to finish with my right hand, then they call you buffalo again. So your next drink that arrives, you have to down.
See, I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
Because I've always gone, if I have a draft and there's, let's say, 10 to 12 centimeters of beer left in the bottom of that draft, I'm not too phased about which hand I drink it with because I'll just down it in anyway. So I thought the challenge was, firstly, you have to call a buffalo in the action of the sip happening, right?
You have to catch him.
Yeah, you can't catch me just holding it.
No.
So in the sip happening, again, my silly understanding was the sip is in motion. The sip is in action, right? This is not going to look great on the internet. It's in motion.
Yeah.
Finish. Klaar.
No,
Yeah, because if you call it while it's just in my right hand, it doesn't count.
it doesn't count.
Then I said to Dill, because Dill was also on your side of this whole thing, obviously.
Everyone was on my side.
Everyone was on your side.
Even the chicks went.
Even the women were like, Josh, shut up and just give up.
Yeah.
Just drink the tequila, Josh.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of the debate, was me trying to put off drinking the damn tequila. Even Dill was saying, no, once it makes it past a certain point, you could get away with it, as in like just finishing the last little amount. And I was like, yeah, but then who decides where that line is? Is it a halfway point? Is it a 3/4? Like what decides when downage should happen and shouldn't happen? Like, would you call me on a buffalo if I had 2 sips left in the bottom and I did it with the right hand?
No, because I'm not a doer, so I won't. But I have caught oaks with the last bit, and then the next one is, unfortunately, she has to order 2 more, so first one has to go.
Yes.
But that's it. Like, in all transparency, like, we were a bit of a doers there when you took your tequila shot with the right hand, and then we all called buffalo because we wanted you to drink the other one that was left on the table.
Yeah.
And that's where the debate started.
Dude, it was massively well played on your part. It was so well played because you were sitting to my right and the tequila was between us.
Yeah.
And I was sitting with my arms crossed, being like, nah, guys, I'm fine. No, the whole way through. And Kitsy started his like Stephen Kitshoff sweet talk, his smooth talk.
Something else cool that happened today, also at the airport, seeing all the Barbarians oaks.
Oh, dude, that was sick.
I remember.
Big boys.
I remember the last time I was invited to the Barbarians, we played. We were supposed to play against Samoa, and it was during COVID, so it wasn't as outgoing in the week as what it normally is. Like the one in 2019 was, or 2018 was unbelievable. It was like a week in London, just non-stop party from the Monday to the Thursday, and by Thursday you like decided, let's see, maybe it's a good option tonight to just drink an Energade or a Powerade instead of another cold beer.
Hydrate once.
Yeah. Because your body gets used to the amount of alcohol. So as soon as you train a little bit, you like work through the Powerade so quickly and it hits the heart.
Booze. Yeah.
That's tough. But that was fun. We played against Argentina at Twickenham, which was such a cool game. I think we won it with a drop goal at the end. But then the second time I was selected, so myself, Malcolm as well, and Dwayne was at the hotel. And then all the Samoan guys arrived. So we were at the Lensbury in, I'm not exactly sure area. I'm gonna make a mistake there. But so we were still waiting in the hotel for our transfer to Hyde Park side.
Okay.
And we're sitting in the hotel, and all Samoan boys started rocking up, and we just played the night before against the English. Now I'm sitting there, like I've got like a lummy, my shoulder's not feeling so lacquer, and these boys walk in fresh as a daisy, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to play against them in 7 days from now.
That must be frightening.
This is gonna be painful. I'm sitting there with like a beer, and I'm like fucking shivering from being so sore and hungover from the night before in the Kontiki. And I'm watching these oaks come in. I was like, jeez, some big boys. Anyway, now flipping coming in from Joburg this morning, this afternoon, landing. I checked these Barbarian guys also here in Cape Town. Like a couple of French guys, some older rugby players that's recently retired or out of international rugby. And I'm like, geez, these oaks are huge.
They're solid, eh? There was a guy there in an olive green T-shirt.
Chat. I think his name's Chat.
Chat.
Okay. Neck.
Dude.
It's got the
We got off the plane, and the distance between getting off the plane and getting to the carousel with your bag, he was walking in front of Dylan and I the whole way to the carousel. The entire way there was us talking about his neck.
Really?
It was. His neck's almost as wide as his fucking shoulders.
Yeah. He's got no traps.
And like arms, dude. Yeah. Shout out to you, dude. You got an incredible physique. Great rig, as they say.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a phenomenal player too. Dude, it was. I was joking with my dad. I messaged my dad when we were taking off. But I was saying, Dad, we're sitting on a plane with a lot of Springboks, and a lot of Barbarian players. I hope they have extra jet fuel on this plane because this plane is heavy, boys.
Heavy.
Yes, they were saying you're going to experience some turbulence. I was like, every time one of the Springboks get up to go pee, the plane's going to drop off at the back. Yeah, dude, that was and you turn around and you just see normal people's heads and then just rugby player over the top throughout the aisles, like just knees out in the aisle,
shoulder,
elbows,
shoulder hanging over the side.
Oh, dude,
please keep your limbs in the vehicle at all time.
Yeah, I had you on that one.
Got me on that one.
And the flight gods respected us this time. Going, you were middle seat.
Yes.
But coming back,
At a gap.
You had a gap and an aisle seat.
Yes. Very lucky.
I'll speak it now. This might never happen again because I'm going to jinx it. I had aisle seat with open seat there and back. My foot's in my mouth. I got two.
Big shout out, Safe, for organizing that.
Thank you, Safe. Thank you so much.
for that little VIP thing you put on my boarding pass every time.
Dude, that was cute.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
The lady called me. She's like, "Sir, where's your priority?" I'm like, "No, VIP."
That was gangster.
Safe, I just want to say thanks for that as well.
That was amazing.
Legends.
We all get to the front and she's checking everyone's boarding passes and identification. And we go, here, Amy goes priority, I go priority, Dill goes priority. Kitsy goes, puts it forward. She goes, sir, you're in the wrong queue. You are not priority. Kitsy goes, oh, but no. Look at the top corner, VIP written. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Please come through. That was awesome. Yeah. That was a great flight. I really enjoyed it.
There's another story I actually want to tell about the Barbarians. I'm thinking
do it.
about it. Also, like another flying story, and I think a lot of this has become the flying, the flight
time.
Flight time. Yeah,
just us flying.
Yeah, but so in COVID with the Barbarians game, we were supposed to play against Samoa. The game got so there was another massive outbreak in South Africa. I think it was the Omni. It was the last COVID one we had.
Oh, the omnipresent.
Yeah. Optimus Prime version.
Yeah.
The Optimus. Autobot.
Exactly. Yeah, the Autobot version came in later.
So myself and Malcolm roommates, and we go, shit, Malky's getting married like 7 days later. Like Barbas, the Saturday. Next weekend is getting married. So we like, bro, if these flights get cancelled, you're not gonna make your wedding, first of all. Like there's no way we're getting back to South Africa if these flights get cancelled. So the game kickoffs at 3. We see what's the last possible flight out of London the Saturday evening.
You're gonna fly straight after the game?
Yeah, we actually went to like Dave Rennie and said, listen here, coach, my brother Malcolm's getting married next week, Saturday. They're talking about cancelling flights, so we're just gonna check if there might be a flight directly after the game.
Okay.
So we'll go straight from Rugby to airport. So we had a Qatar flight, Emirates flight, and phone Emirates. Hi guys, flight number EQ whatever 453. They go, sorry, Mr. Kitshoff, that flight has been cancelled. I go, fuck.
Whoops.
I go,
Malky, single. Yeah.
Malky, you're not going to make your wedding. We need to get a ship now, a speedboat around.
Start swimming. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to get there. Anyway, so we luckily got a flight the Saturday. But now it's like up in the air if the game's going to get cancelled or not. So, So we had like 3 or 4 COVID cases. I mean, like drinking the whole week. The coach goes to us like, listen, guys, the Lucet prop has got COVID, but he might pull through. Malcolm, the other hooker's got COVID, so we're flying a guy in, but he's not good, so you might play like 78 minutes. Like both.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So on 99, we couldn't fill the team, and they had to cancel the game. From there, we just went straight to the airport. So we get to the airport, now you can imagine like pandemic, COVID, cancelled flights. Now you can imagine how busy that Heathrow airport must get.
I remember that, dude. Yeah.
So eventually we make it to our gates, get onto the plane. But now it's economy. So we sit like me and him next to each other, like tight. Little kid sitting here crying. mom there, like a big fella on the other side, so we're sitting in the middle.
Masks and like
And it's like mucky, and it's
everyone's washing their hands and sanitizing every 5 minutes. Yes, like dude,
But,
that was exhausting.
But luckily we made it back. Malcolm's wedding was a beautiful wedding, so luckily we made it back into South Africa.
Question on that.
Yes.
When did you do his bachelor's if you were in London the weekend before?
So Malcolm had like 5 bachelors. So he had one at the Barbarians, he had one with the Springboks on November tour. Yeah, but his big bachelors was after Rugby Champs in Sun City.
Oh, that's a great bachelor's. And yours?
Same. Mine was also in August, and then end of year tour, and then straight to the wedding.
Do you want to get into a little bit of ruggers from this week? Damn, it's fun watching rugby with you, dude, because you break down everything. But
yeah, I can maybe start with the
Lions
Argentina game, and I think for me, like, first of all, like as we said, congratulations to Argentina. It was
Vamos!
It was such a beautiful game to watch as well, because it almost felt like the energy the Argentinians showed from the first minute. Like that first opening play was like 3.5 minutes of ball in play before they got the 3 points. It was just like consistent, like defensive pressure, attacking, and then they kicked the ball and they got the ball back, and just consistent, like relentless attack and pace and energy in the game. And it almost felt like they carried that for the first 60 minutes and then dropped off a little bit and then almost got it back like a second win towards the end of it. But I've got this feeling the Lions aren't as sharp as what they were.
I think so.
When they came to South Africa, because 4 years ago, because when they came to South Africa, they played against Japan. They absolutely thumped them. They thumped all the club sides like by 50 points on average. And then the test matches were clinical. It was like tough games. Just beat them in the SAA game, lost the first test match, and then had to really work to get those 2 wins to actually win the series. But also, Argentina is a good side. And I think the Lions will probably, as the next month or so goes on, they'll probably get a bit of combinations and start understanding each other a bit better, and then hopefully see some good performances. I think it's still going to be a tough tournament for Australia if they stand any chance to win it.
Do you think the Lions played their best starting 15 against Argentina, or do you think they underestimated the competition?
They can probably pick any 23 guys and it would be a great team. Because they all, like, as you spoke with Malcolm there as well, it's like these are the best guys in their positions for their countries. Like it's the number one guys for each of the countries, and then if they make it through that, they get seen as better as some of the guys who play for the island or other countries as well. So it is the best of the best in that all those teams. So
there isn't really A and B choices, right?
I reckon it might come down to like how the management or the Lions coaches think combination wise how they want to pick. And I think you can pick any guy any week and they can play brilliant rugby. If it's the most on form team, I don't know. If it's maybe to try out some combinations, I also don't know. But I think we'll see a lot of changes going into the rest of their campaign now going to Australia.
Before I ask your predictions on the Australia games, 2 players I wanted to highlight and ask you about, because a lot of people are talking about it. Again, from a fan perspective, Henry Pollock and Farrell. Obviously, Farrell not playing, but then being there at the game, and the drama of that. And then Henry Pollock as the promising, young lighty coming through. We didn't get to see him do too much in this game. And I think we actually pointed it out that final give up, that turnover on the ball was unfortunately from him, which allowed them to kick out in that 80th minute. Not that I think if they held on for a few more phases, it would have made much of a difference, to be honest. But what do you think on those 2 guys at the moment?
Yeah, I think probably just on Farrell, like, it must be tough, first of all, if your dad's the head coach of the Lions.
I didn't make that connection until we said it while watching the game. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's quite a tough Father's Day conversation. It's like, hey, Pops, what are you up to? And he's like, no, planning the Lions games, like just selecting my teams. It's like, oh, that's great. Keen for Brian maybe a bit later and just a chat. It's like, no, son, sorry, I'm busy. I'm just working with the Lions guys.
Yeah, I need to work with a team. Yeah, Dad, but I'm in that team. Okay, son. Nice to hear from you. Okay, bye. No, Dad, listen, bye. Okay, bye.
It's like he phones you back, like, Dad, listen, really, you can select me. He's like, okay, we'll chat later. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. Shame, man. And you could I love how they left the camera on him long enough that the crowd cheered and whatever. Obviously, phenomenal player. Crowd cheered and gave the wave, whatever. And then they kept rolling. They didn't turn away after the moment of acknowledging the praise. Yeah. And you could see his expression go from stoked to stoked. This is not fun. homie dropped a couple tears in joy. Yeah.
And he's probably thinking I shouldn't have accepted those tickets from my dad.
Yeah, I should have been in the box.
Yeah, I should have been in the box or at home. But no, and then I think probably with Pollock, I think he wasn't as impressive as we all thought he was going to be for the first time in the Lions jersey. I think he tried, but he did miss a tackle that led to a try, and the other thing that happened also, as you said, the turnover right at the end. Not that I think it would have mattered with the end result. The Argentinians were just too sharp, especially in those closing minutes of the game. But it will be interesting to see how his selection comes through leading up to the test matches. So if he'll be a midweek starter playing against some of the club sides in Australia, or if he actually would be a prominent test player.
Yeah.
So that'll be quite an interesting selection. But still, very strong Lions team. I think Australia, it's going to be tough. It's going to be it's going to be away for a long time. It's going to be a tough tournament. A lot of games that needs to be played. It's going to be interesting.
I'm keen. Predictions?
Australia's form over the last couple of years hasn't been great. Okay. I think they've been playing better last season and going into the end of year tour. So hopefully they carry that momentum going into this Lions series. I don't think it's going to be a walkover for any team. Mm-hmm. I think it might be a 2-1 finish, similar to what we did. But if I must be honest, I think probably 2-1 for the Lions.
Sure, really? I think Malky was saying the other way, yeah. I'm thinking, damn, dude, I really wasn't expecting yesterday's result to be what it was. Super stoked that it is. Vamos! Love you guys. Well done. Unless you play against the Springboks and then...
Well, we kept saying after the games, Malky, you're going to have your hands full with these bloody Argentinians.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, they played well.
Yeah. Because sometimes, and I've never thought of it like this, when you watch rugby, you're obviously watching the game as a whole, right?
Yeah.
But you're also watching specifically to your position. Yeah, because that's what you understand best, right?
Yeah, watch everything. Watch tactics and kicking game and line-out strategy and mauling and how they operate at the breakdown.
Because Amy gave a little bit of insight into this, just a little side note that I think will be cool for people to hear. Amy was explaining your dedication to playing and how you'd play on a Saturday, wake up on a Sunday, maybe with a little bit of a babbelas celebrating because you won pretty much everything throughout your career. Wake up with a little bit of babbelas, exam pad out, put the game on and study everything about the game throughout Sunday so that when Monday practice came around again, you had notes, you had changes, you had suggestions, everything on how the game could change or be improved for the next game. And I was like, that's proper dedication. Because when you start to understand your schedule as a player, it's non-stop. This weekend alone was... Malky was off to things. You and Amy are busy with things. Amy saying we still have to do this and do that and send us off and attend this event. Then it's flights and it's transport. And then on top of that, playing and traveling for playing. It's a crazy schedule to then find the time on what is possibly your only day off to sit and watch and review through rugby.
And get DSTV so you can record the game. It's just much easier.
There we go. Apparently, DSTV are now releasing a sports package. I saw some article about that. We do need that.
Yeah.
Predictions. I'll stick with you on the Lions taking it. So it'll be cool. I'd like to see the Lions give them a bit of horns.
But also, like, I don't mind if I'm wrong on this prediction. And also, no one bet according to what I'm saying. But if the Australians prove me wrong, I'll be stoked as well.
Yeah.
Because another Southern Hemisphere team that thumped the Lions.
Fair game. Good point.
Yeah.
Very
I won't
good
be
point.
upset.
Yeah.
Barbarians coming this weekend.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned earlier, we saw the entire team on the plane, and they're staying there in Camps Bay, which is quite fun. So I'm wondering if the Oaks, at this moment that we're recording the episode, if they busy chilling in Caprizi.
100% they are. 100%. If we check the Caprice Instagram stories, let's see.
Because that should be fun.
Got to do it, right? Have to do it while you're here.
Barbarians is such a cool thing, though. It's like all about like back to your roots, like the passion about rugby, the brotherhood, the love for the game, and the Oaks takes the game very, very serious. Like these Oaks they're not Mickey Mouse about rugby. Like they're proper professionals. So, but with the Barbarians, you enjoy that first couple of days of the week, that Sunday till Wednesday, Thursday max. Oaks actually get to know each other, have a good time, go down to the essence of rugby, like
that's very cool.
The brotherhood, the bonds, the friendships, and then the last 2 days is like, what do I do to get all this, all this booze and negative, and all this nicotine and tar out of my lungs?
There we go.
And then go into the game, but and still put up a good performance most of the time.
Tell you.
So that's it's going to be quite interesting to see what these Oaks get up to in Cape Town.
Seeing the players in person like that is such a trippy feeling, because you actually take the size of the human being into account. And there were some big boys collecting their bags at that carousel. So I'm very excited to see how they perform. How are you feeling about the competition between the Barbarians and the Springbox squad at the moment? There's so much depth that I'm feeling very positive leading up to another World Cup, that I think we actually stand a very good chance at possibly a third. Do you think that is something that Rassie and the boys are starting to think about now? Oh, you do?
100%, yeah. I think because if you think about this, the guys, the main or the senior guys at the, say, 23 World Cup was of the older age, like in their early 30s, but older. I mean, 4 years later in rugby, it's a long time. There's a lot of rugby, a lot of collisions, a lot of things happening. But we'll probably know by Monday, Tuesday when the team's announced, to see how much of the young guys he actually puts into the squad. But I think also like having some of the older experienced guys among the youngsters might be so beneficial, because they'll feed off their energy. They'll understand the pressure that comes with putting on a green and gold jersey, playing in front of 50,000 people in South Africa. It's quite a daunting feeling and an emotional feeling. So maybe like this Barbarians game and maybe the Georgian game is like two great opportunities to get like a couple of senior guys in the team, but then bleed a lot of youngsters in and build those cap experience. And then maybe one of the Italian games, like try 5 new guys or 5 guys who've got caps, but just give them another opportunity to play and represent and play with among each other. Because then you'll quickly, as us as fans now, would quickly understand the true depth of the Springboks, because you'll start seeing new guys coming through and actually getting like back-to-back caps the whole time and actually playing like a full season and being selected every weekend. And then you'll start understanding how Rassie will be thinking about the squad and how you'll build his squad going into 27 World Cup.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see this weekend, especially because it's not a official test match. It's just an international like friendly.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting to see guys that actually get the call up to play against the Barbarians, because it's a fun.
Quite an honor. Eh?
It's a fun experience. It's something different. And then, as it leads into the first test match the following weekend, then you'll actually see like, okay, cool. This is probably what Rassie's plan was the whole time. While we've been talking about the Springboks for the last 6 months, this is what he actually saw. And then you can start seeing like the combinations, who's going to pick on, who's going to be the starting front row, who's going to be, your lock pairing, who's going to be your 9-10, who's going to be the back three, and then you'll start seeing what Rassi's wanting to build into the rest of the season.
How do you think this current depth that we have available, that Rassi has available to pick and choose from, how do you think that's going to alter what we currently have as a strategy of bomb squad?
No, I mean, it'll be quite interesting to see, because I think the bomb squad is just a thing of like understanding your role as a player off the bench or as a impact type of style player. I think Russell always not push his props into 70, 80 minutes of rugby. He'll always sub them quite early. He'll always have like a very dynamic flanker or two flankers and a lock on the bench. So you'll always see this group of fours on the bench that could change a rugby game. Because we got the depth, first of all, so you'll get a very strong starting pack, but you'll have as of a strong
For
bench
that second half.
for that second half or those closing moments of the game.
Yeah.
So I think depth is such a great thing, because as soon as the talent is there and the personnel is there to fill up a squad of 50 players easy, it's just going to be interesting to see what Rassi's thinking combination wise for the rest of the season.
I see.
What it's going to look like.
Okay.
And if it's going to be some of the older guys who's going to carry on in that position, or he's going to start introducing a lot more younger guys to see if they can build the experience into, as we said, the next World Cup.
And maybe keep the older guys for those crucial last-minute moments.
And maybe keep the older guys, but it's also like playing with the bench, and that was, I think, what made us so special when we, like myself and Malcolm and Vince, is like we were very energetic rugby players. Like we weren't second choice by all means. Like we could have easily started, or vice versa, but we just had like intensity for that first 10 minutes we were on the field. Like you could see when Malcolm went on, when Kwacha went on, when Ergio went on. It's like there's a change of speed in the game,
pace,
pace, because we bring that energy into the game, and that was our role as the bomb squad.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to, I mean, you were getting me thinking now of all the like in-depth rugby conversations we also had this weekend, which for me it's in-depth. Obviously for you guys it's just banter about the game. But we were chatting on Japan and the level of rugby in Japan and how it's not an area within the sport to overlook, and that it's at a standard that is actually really, really high. But we were saying how teams will strategically position certain plays according to the strengths of opposition players.
Like we had a conversation between myself and Malcolm. We played against each other.
Yes.
Yeah, but it is like, that's why like Amy spoke a lot about like also like the Sunday analysis and the Monday morning meetings and the preview for the following weekend. Like all those things were designed to get an understanding of strengths and weaknesses of the opposition. So, I mean, there's a million examples I can actually show and talk about, but like the one we spoke about this weekend, and it's quite an interesting one, is when myself and Malcolm played against each other. Like he was playing for the Lions and I was at the Stormers, and in the build up in the week, we all knew Malcolm was like this phenomenal poacher, and he's just like the best when it comes to making turnovers.
Yeah.
So we said like, listen, why don't we just run at him the whole time? Just make him tackle. Just make him just put him on the ground the whole time.
Just keep him down.
Yeah, so like I was at that stage like we didn't have Evan the Rose yet, but I was like a big ball carrier for the Stormers. And I got the ball the whole time off like the 9 pod and stuff like that, or 10. Every time I saw Malcolm, I knew I had one job, and it wasn't to run like in between like the two tiny oaks. I just to pick him and like try and T-bone him and run straight at his sternum so he can get on the ground. But that was the plan for the weekend, because we just didn't want to concede a penalty like on the halfway or on 22 or wherever, because they had Elton, and Elton can drill it into the corner, and then the Lions had a strong maul. So we just said like this, one way we're not going to lose penalties is like run at Malcolm.
Yeah.
He'll tackle you, but he won't get the ball off you.
There we go.
You just run straight.
Just
Eddie
get
Sterling,
hurt, boys.
Just go for him.
I mean, he was saying even in Japan that he's known, obviously, I mean, throughout the sport, he's known for being good at that. That the second he gets that ball, it's just 2 or 3 different homies that just zone in on him. And he, what do you call it, like ankle chop.
Grass cutting.
I always thought that the opposition would look at that and go, okay, we need to beat him at his own game, as in break him at that thing he's best at. When actually the team will go, wait a second, Steven's good at ball carrying. How do we change our strategy in a way that when he does carry, we know how to respond in a way that we can kind of win it over rather than challenge him at that thing. Don't fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
What were you, or what do you think you were known for by teams as like, don't let Steven do X?
I carry the ball a lot, so but I was probably scrummaging was a big one. Also poaching, I was quite a keen poacher. I won't say I was a very good one, but I was
keen to get in there.
Yeah, I was quite aggressive, and I was quite aggressive when it came to the breakdown. But I think probably scrummaging was the number one. And I was quite sneaky defensively with like my tackles, and I didn't really miss tackles. Like I'll get Oaks and I'll like slow ball down, and I'll be there, put my foot in the ruck, or pinch the Oaks nut or something. I don't know. I'm joking. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Little tickle, not a pinch.
Yeah, just get under his skin. But no, to be honest, I'm not actually sure, because a lot of coaches have told me a lot of different things, so how they targeted me. You could never get under my skin. Like that was the one thing.
Like mentally?
Yeah, I never got angry.
Really? That
so
is
I'm quite
cool.
Proud of.
Yeah. So Oaks would chirp and it would just not faze you, eh? Why? Because there's a job to be done?
No, probably sometimes when I get chirped like by a Scotsman or a English Oak, sometimes I just don't understand the accent. It's like, sorry, say again? And then the moment's over. It's like,
yeah, exactly. You're like, running away from each other again.
It's like, what? Sorry?
Say what you say?
Say again.
You want to end off on prediction for Barber's game?
Yeah, we can.
A Shits and Gigs predict.
Yeah. Probably prediction for the Barbarians game. I would say quite an easy win for the Boks, hopefully. I think probably Springboks by 15 points.
I'll go high this time. I'll go ridiculous. Springboks by over 20.
Depends on how the game looks and how the weather is as well.
Weather's looking, I think, like rain. I think it's looking like rain. I'll tell you right now, the weather for the Barbers game.
Game Time, the weather show.
Yeah, come here for all your daily news, the weather updates, the traffic update. We can give that to you too. It's just me complaining about traffic all the time. Saturday, 15 degrees, 75% chance of rain. Does that sway your prediction?
No.
Not?
Probably strengthens it a bit because it probably be a lot of set piece and scrums. Not 100% sure what the entire pack looks like for the Barbarians. Also not 100% sure what the Springbok pack looks like. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see team selection. I hope guys like Nietlin gets the opportunity to play. I hope some of the guys who haven't been playing for the Boks actually get a decent run this weekend.
Especially in, I don't know if this is the headspace that they would be in, but especially in a game like this, because it's a serious thing, but it's also a chance to, I would imagine, connect with the love of why you play the game. You know, as an athlete, there's the fun element to it of, one, it's an honor to be on that field. Yeah. So it'd be cool, as you say, to see those guys get the honor to run out and play against the Barbers.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a special one. I want to wrap in closing to say thank you to Pick and Pay
brilliant.
For the event on Friday. It was a competition as well, where people won the chance to braai with a player.
The boys.
Which was very cool. So you were in a team, Malky was in a team, Eben was in a team. But lekker bugger, what a week it was. Lots of traveling. Thank you to everyone involved this weekend. It was phenomenal. Vamos! That's how I'll end this one.
Another busy weekend, eh?
It is.
Busy week coming up for me.
It is. We've got Highball launch.
Got Highball launch on Thursday, 25th of June. Be on the lookout.
It's going to be a leak one. You guys are going to love what's coming out. There's nothing else like it.
Friday jersey presentation.
Cool. What's that?
For the Barbarians. Handing over the guys' jerseys.
That's very cool. That's sick. That's very cool. Okay.
And then
Saturday game. Lekker.
lekker burger.
Thank you for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for your support. Thank you to everyone that watches this, and thank you to everyone that comes over and compliments the show. You guys are incredible. Kitsy and I are having a ton of fun doing this. We will update you on the auctioning of the third chair. We are busy getting it branded that we can auction off, and obviously everything from the auction goes to charity alongside SofaWorks. We will also keep you updated on the highball launch happening on Thursday. This is coming out Monday, so in 2-3 days time, as well as merch. We'll hop onto GameTime merch announcements soon. We're going to do something very, very cool with the merch stuff. So much love. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rugby this weekend coming, and shout out to the Barbers. Have an incredible game.
Vamos.